What would the perfect mock draft look like for the Houston Texans? Well, it's a good thing your friends from the Sportsocracy are here to tell you. Flosterdamus Jeremy Greene at ESPN Draft Nerd on Twitter has chosen the Chris Farley mock draft because he's the perfect comedian.
Yeah, things are going great.
So, at number 3 overall, the Houston Texans. Which way should they go?
Well, I mean, be really honest with yourself. What does this team look at and go, yeah, we're good there?
Nothing.
Running back. That's it. Please, for the love of God, stop signing running backs. I think they have 43 of them on the roster now. This is just a roster that's littered with $2 million players. So if I'm Houston, I could go safe. Or I could take the guy that has the highest upside in the draft, which is what I think they should do with Trayvon Walker. I'm going to make a comparison to Trayvon Walker that I have yet to hear anybody make, and it's the most appropriate one I've heard yet.
Okay.
It's J.J. Watt.
Really?
It's exactly what he reminds me of because he can do anything. He can play on the inside. He can play on the outside. Scheme versatile. There's really no team in the league that would look at him and go, nope, you just can't play for us. I don't care how you intend on using him. I think he can be an edge. I think he can be an interior lineman. It doesn't really matter. He has the highest upside of any player in this draft. I've got him at 9 on my big board because there is some risk. There is some risk that he never finds a position that he's really comfortable at. And then you're just moving him around and he's just a piece. But even then, he's going to be a good piece wherever he settles. There were times that he didn't get off blocks at Georgia. He kind of got overshadowed by Jordan Davis and the slew of other players. I would argue that's because he wasn't used exactly right at Georgia. And I think a team in the NFL is going to see just the hyper athleticism, the ability as a pass rusher, and this is a piece that you can pencil in for the next 8 to 10 years as being a franchise piece, and that's exactly what the Houston Texans need.
The first pick that they got back from the Deshaun Watson deal with the Cleveland Browns comes at number 13 overall. And here you got a wide receiver, Garrett Wilson from Ohio State.
I threw a little risk with the third pick. There's no risk here. Garrett Wilson, at worst, is going to be a really good route runner. At worst, he'll be Jerry Jeudy. Mm-hmm. And I think that's his floor. His ceiling is astronomically high. Really good when plays break down. That was one of the things I held against him at first. And then the more I watched tape on it, the more I went, well, there's an art to that too, of just being able to get open. And he's always open. I don't think there's anything he can't do. I mean, if you want to throw a knock on him, level of competition, playing at Ohio State, you're just better than – because not only they had to deal with you, they had to deal with Chris Olave, Jackson Smith and Jigba, and Harrison, who couldn't even get on the fucking field.
Right.
So, yeah, there is a thing to that. But, I mean, you watch him. He's just so smooth. Really, really good route runner. I thought Olave was the better of the two in terms of route runners until I started watching it. Now – to me, it's Garrett Wilson. It's not even really all that close.
In the second round, they got pick number 37. Bernard Raymond, the offensive tackle out of Central Michigan. This is the terrifying mountain of an Austrian.
Well, this is all about projection. And I'll be honest with you, doing these A-plus mock drafts, every team is insulated from each other. So Bernard Raymond could be in 7 of these. Mm-hmm. And one of the ways I use this is if I start seeing a player appear in a lot of them, and I'm 2/3 of the way done with them as we're recording this, then that's a guy that either I'm too low on or the industry is missing on. And I'm not sure that Bernard Raymond's not both of them. Mm-hmm. Super raw. Came to Central Michigan as a tight end. And, I mean, we've seen a lot of these guys over the years that you shift to tight end. The footwork serves you really well. I think he can do damn near anything. Laramie Tunsil, they seem to have solved the issues there. This would give you the bookends. So you missed with Titus Howard in what was probably the most fortuitous draft jump ahead in the history of time because Andre Dillard couldn't play dead in a fucking cowboy movie. And so the Eagles kept you from doing that. Now you got Howard, who is a serviceable guard. Now you've almost got the line settled. You believe in Davis Mills. I can tell you this definitively. The Houston Texans believe that if Davis Mills was in this draft, he would be the number 1 pick. Mm-hmm. So they're going with this as we got a gift in a 3rd-round pick of a talented quarterback that can carry us through this rebuild and ultimately possibly be the quarterback on the other side. But you're going to have to give him the tools to do that. And I think having Bernard Raymond on the right side, Laramie Tunsil on the left, and then if a year from now you want to move Tunsil, you can slide Bernard Raymond over to the left side.
Right. Also add to the offensive line with the 68th overall pick in the 3rd round, Luke Fortner, center out of Kentucky.
Everybody talks about quarterbacks' best friends being tight end slot receivers and left tackle pass protectors. The thing that they always undervalue is the center. Mm-hmm. I am just obsessed with having a really smart center. And Luke Fortner's a guy that has skyrocketed up the board for me. When we came into this, I thought Tyler Linderbaum would go in the top 15 because there was no center that was even in his class. Fortner's not in his class, but I could see how career-wise they look reasonably similar. I think Fortner can come in and start right now. Your immediate day one starter at center, handle all of your line protections. This is a guy that has a master's degree in engineering. I think it's in civil engineering, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. He's like a 3-time COSITA academic All-American.
Unbelievably smart, and that's what I want out of a center. Does he have some physical limitations? Yeah, he's a little lead-footed, but I don't really care. Mm-hmm. He's strong as a damn ox. He was on the biggest offensive line I have ever seen, and the more you watch him, the more you like him.
The Texans have the New Orleans Saints pick in the 3rd round at 80th overall. How about a security blanket here? At the tight end position from UCLA, it's Greg Dulcich.
I thought Greg Dulcich was going to be able to be one of my little boyfriends through this process that nobody saw, and I was wrong. And look, I think he's even better than he shows on tape because I think he fit in that UCLA offense like I would fit into a fucking muumuu. It's just that's not what you want him doing. I look at Greg Dulcich very similarly to the way I look at Mark Andrews. Do you have the physical measurables? Are you really fast? No, you just have really soft hands and you find a way to get open. This is a Davis Mills best friend kind of player. He ain't much of a blocker. I'm just going to straight up tell you, he's not much of – this is a move tight end. Mm-hmm. This is not the Kittle. This is the Mark Andrews that you're going to have a second tight end on the roster that kind of protects him. And I'm sure somebody's going to say, but Brevin Jordan. You can play both of them together in passing downs. You're going to need somebody that can actually block. And, I got news for you. When you need everything, you're not going to be able to figure all this out in one draft.
Right.
But to me, having a weapon like this kind of mitigates the need for another receiver, and that'll allow you to go Garrett Wilson, Brandin Cooks, Nico, and now I got 3 guys. I got 3 guys that are kind of interchangeable pieces because I can play 2 of them in the slot. Nico's an outside guy. This gives me the safe underneath tight end in Dulcich that I don't think he needs much to do what you're going to ask him to do. Mm-hmm. This will be the best tight end probably in Texans history, and I fully believe that, and you would get him here at 80 in the 3rd round.
In the 4th round, pick 107, Cam Taylor-Britt, cornerback out of Nebraska.
He's a jack of all trades, master of none. There are some people that think he comes into the league and has to play safety, and 10 years ago, this is a guy that you probably would have shoehorned him into being a slot corner. Now I think you can just move him around the formation and do so many things with him. I don't love the idea of him starting on the perimeter because he is short. Mm-hmm. He's 5'10", so I don't know that he's ever going to be a great outside corner. Think of all of the tape that we've done on Daxton Hill and Jalen Petrie, and this is a poor man's version of that. Athletically, he's very much on par with them. Technique-wise, he's very much on par with them. I don't know that he's ever going to be the run game stopper that a Dax Hill is. It's the reason you get Dax Hill at the back end of the 1st round, and you catch Cam Taylor-Britt here in the early hundreds.
That was the Detroit Lions pick in the 4th round. Their own pick comes up next at 108 overall. Kirby Joseph, the safety out of Illinois. Wait. So he's getting his coach is getting him.
It's always good when you can be in the draft room and go, hey.
Because I'm going to bunk with you, buddy. We're going to be buddies. We're going to be pals. We're going to wrestle around.
This is a pick I kind of wrestled with because, yes, he does know the Lovie Smith system, but the best tape I ever saw with him was with Brett Bielema. Mm-hmm. But they're comfortable with each other. I think Kirby Joseph, even if Lovie Smith had still been at Illinois, he would have rounded into this role eventually. The more I've looked at it, the more I don't necessarily think it's schematically he just didn't fit with Lovie Smith. I don't think that's the case. I don't think he got the opportunity. And now you've seen the 1 year. It's only 1 year of real production, which is the reason that you see him here available at 108 as opposed in the 70s. I think he's the 3rd or 4th best safety in this draft, especially if you're looking for a guy that can play in the box but is not a complete liability in coverage. Strong safety role, a guy that I want to see in the box more, but does have the ability to drop if you need him to.
The 4th pick in the 6th round comes at 183 overall. That's the next pick for the Houston Texans. Terrell Bernard, linebacker out of Baylor.
I would absolutely love to be this kid's travel agent during the draft process because I think he has gone to every team in the NFL. Look, I'm going to be as nice about this as I can be. You gave my Jets a 6th-round pick for Blake Cashman, and I'll be 100% honest with you, I forgot he was on the fucking team. Oh, but he's hyper-athletic. Yeah, and he can't stay healthy to save his life. They currently project him to be the starting will linebacker. I don't think he's ever going to be. I've already played this game with him. I got super excited by the 4-4 linebacker, too. The only problem is he has that weird disease where his bones are made of popsicle sticks and glass, and every morning he breaks his arms and every afternoon he breaks his legs. So, look, I get why you like him. Terrell Bernard is the safer version of that. He's not as insanely athletic, but I think he's a better football player than Blake Cashman. Would be a depth piece until Cashman invariably gets hurt. And then could slide right in. I think he can play right away. Mm-hmm. You're going to have to learn with him. You know, the Baylor defense was a little gimmicky, and I'm going to say this about every Baylor defender that gets drafted because that's not really an NFL kind of defense. So you're going to have to teach this guy the specifics of how to play in this league. But if you do that and you're willing to be patient, I think he can be a valuable depth piece in this league.
At 206th, the Houston Texans have the Green Bay Packers pick here, and Kalyn Barnes, cornerback out of Baylor.
Hey, you remember that thing I just said about Baylor players? Yeah, Kalyn Barnes is a great athlete. Watching his film is absolutely maddening. I didn't have a draftable grade on him before he ran a 4.06 or whatever the fuck it was he ran. He's lightning fast. He just plays really far off of people. And I look at Lovie Smith's defense and go, you could work in that. Because that's what he does. He lays off of receivers, then he uses athleticism to break on the ball. You're going to have to teach him to trust his eyes more, and he's not going to go as high. I mean, hell, I've seen him go in the back end of the 2nd round. If a team takes him that high, you are dumb, because that's just not who he is. Mm-hmm. But there is a lot of raw. There's a lot of raw to like, and there's just not that many corners that are that fast. You're going to have to teach him to stop slacking so far off of people because double moves really got him. He got absolutely annihilated, and I can't remember I want to say it was Iowa State, that they just eviscerated him on double moves. Because every time they would break, he would see that as his opportunity to use his athleticism to break on the ball, and they would just shoot upfield, and he couldn't turn quick enough to catch up to them. So you're going to have to teach him to stop biting on everything. Trust your eyes, take the raw, could be a valuable player down the line.
The Texans also have the San Francisco 49ers pick in the 6th round at 208. Myron Cunningham, offensive tackle out of Arkansas.
He is a giant human. He went, I think he started at Western Illinois, didn't really get on the field at Western Illinois, went the JUCO route, became one of the most popular JUCO players in the country. He's a house and very strong. I think he's going to be an immediate benefactor in the run game. Could start off as your swing tackle. And I'll be honest with you, if you look at the 2 tight ends that I've talked about with Brevin Jordan and Greg Dulcich, this could be the 6th lineman that plays in that tight end spot. I'm not telling you it's an ideal scenario, but it could be using your draft capital to the most relevant to you right now. He's really good against the run. You're going to have to teach him to stop setting back so far in the pass game, because all he ever had was his ability to just brute strength people out, and the better the pass rusher was that was coming up against him, the more he got taken advantage of. Mm-hmm. And he did hold up. He had a pretty decent game against Alabama, against Will Anderson. You should avoid LSU because they played LSU 2 times, and both of those they were not his friend. But it's just because they were funneling speed rushers at him, and he just couldn't handle it. So a developmental piece, you're going to have to teach him to be a better pass blocker, but he can help you in the run game immediately.
The final pick of the draft for the Houston Texans comes up at 246th overall. This was originally Dallas's pick.
God, I love this kid.
And they'll take a quarterback, E.J. Perry, out of Brown.
Look, and I'm sure somebody's going to go, why would we take a quarterback? Because there's a value to having this kid in the room. This is an Ivy League educated quarterback that every person that has had any interaction with him has been blown away at his personality. Then you watch the tape and you go, you would have had a draftable grade anyway. So is he ever going to be better than a backup quarterback in the NFL? Probably not. But does he have a merit in the room with Davis Mills, somebody that can help him in prep? I mean, if something happened to Davis Mills, could he come in and play? Yeah. I mean, he's not going to be particularly good. Mm-hmm. because he just physically, there are some limitations there. But I look at him and go, you have a role in the NFL. That backup quarterback role is grossly underrated because and I'll go inside baseball here. You want to know the reason that Jamarcus Russell never got a shot at tagging on a roster, or Ryan Leaf or some of these other guys? Because they were dumb as shoelaces. Mm-hmm. And so they provide nothing in the room. So while you're doing game plan and things like that, you got a guy that doesn't even understand the game, doesn't work to better themselves and further their football IQ. So is he – I mean, I like Chris Olodokun from South Dakota State better on film, but I have E.J. Perry higher rated because I think he brings something into that quarterback room.
That's your perfect A++ Chris Farley, perfect comedian, mock draft here for the Houston Texans.
If you have a player you'd like to know how they fit with the Texans, if you would like to just, look at me and go,
let me tell you why I suck.
And call me a big mulleted, ginger-bearded dipshit with a man bun. Feel free. You can also throw out your comments and questions in the comments here. We answer those. Moving forward, we will do those every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday leading up to the 2022 NFL Draft with the objective of answering them all before we go live on draft night for all 262 picks of the 2022 NFL Draft.
We are going to have a lot of fun, just like we have a lot of fun every weekday afternoon here in the Ingalls studio.
Have you noticed I'm speaking faster the closer we get to the draft?
Yes.
I now fully understand Mel Kiper. Like, I get how you just cram all this shit in your head. You're on camera constantly. You've regurgitated it so many times that it's like a comedian that's told the same joke 5,000 times. Now, I haven't told it on this camera, and that's the reason we're doing this. And we will have one final mock draft, which will be my submission into the media contest that will come out the week of the 2022 NFL Draft.
The Sportsocracy always comes to you from the Ingalls studio. Ingalls Supermarkets, low prices, love the savings. I'm Tank Spencer. He's Jeremy Greene.
Yep.
And we will see you next time.